20 years ago, if a British cyclist had won a bronze medal, it would have been a cause for celebration. Gold medals were virtually unseen, and the idea of a Tour de France win beyond our wildest dreams. In those days, it is said that manufacturers were reluctant to sell equipment to the British team to avoid negative associations. And yet today, the team consistently competes with the best in the world and wins. The turning point is thought to be the embracing by performance director Dave Brailsford of the strategy of the aggregation of marginal gains. What this means is that he looks for tiny improvements in many areas, which when aggregated together cause the performance leaps that have led to exceptional results. In this module, we look at how individuals and teams can apply this idea and how the science behind habit building makes a difference to businesses, teams, and lives. Our results are always the result of our actions, and most of what we do is the cause of our habitual behaviours. Our positive habits cause us to produce positive outcomes in line with what we want. Our negative habits produce the opposite. When we appreciate this and seek to understand how we form, maintain, and change our habits, we can make marginal gains that aggregate into remarkable results. Understanding the anatomy of your habits, as well as understanding 5 simple strategies for effortlessly changing your habits, is now possible due to a body of research that demonstrates how humans make and break habitual behaviour. The New York Times bestseller, The Power of Habit by Thomas Duhigg, summarised the latest behavioural research. It seems our habit loops involve cues, cravings, responses, and rewards. In my work with sales leaders and teams, I see that when a person really understands what the cues, cravings, and rewards are for any particular responses, it's the first step towards change. When I realised that the cue to nail biting was often the car or football, it brought me a step closer to the solution. Yet until I saw that the reward was a relief from anxious thoughts, and that I would crave that relief as soon as I got into these situations, then I began to understand the response and the reward mechanisms for myself. Highly addictive behaviours and habits such as nicotine, nail biting, and crack cocaine have similar cue, craving, response, and reward structures. Rather than offer a genuine reward, they simply offer a relief from the anxiety that is being stimulated by the cue, which in the case of tobacco and crack is often just the withdrawal symptoms of the drug itself. As you begin to see what your cue is, what it is that you are craving, it soon becomes easy to apply some simple behavioural science to divert yourself into more positive behaviours. In this module, I will suggest a very simple 5S formula: slicing, situating, stacking, stating, and celebrating. These simple approaches will help you succeed. So let's talk about habit loops some more. In the latest bestseller on habit change, Atomic Habits, James Clear suggests 4 laws that map the habit loop to create change by creating new positive habits. Law 1 for cue is make it obvious. Law 2 for craving is make it attractive. Law 3 for response is make it easy. And law 4 for reward is make it satisfying. If we're looking to break a bad habit, we can inverse these laws to read: Law 1 for cue, make it invisible. Law 2 for craving, make it unattractive. Law 3 for response, make it difficult. And law 4 for reward, make it unsatisfying. To make this easy, there are 5 tools that can help you. The first tool is slicing. Commit to small changes. Watch the results compound over time. Just like a tanker needs a very small adjustment of position to aggregate over time to either hit New York or Venezuela, our habits also have a compounded element to their effect. To make an impact over time, a small improvement may be all you need to start the change. Rather than committing to big change, why not look for marginal gains that can compound over time? If you want more time in the morning, why not wake up 5 minutes earlier? Want to start running? Why not just run around the block once a week? An atomic habit is a tiny change that can have a devastating effect. So look for the small that may stimulate big impact. You don't need to try and create a fitness habit or become a gym bunny. Committing to walking 5 minutes a day may be the simple step you need to create a fitter lifestyle. I found that 7 minutes a day of exercise, 1 glass of water, a commitment to 1 fat-burning morning treat were all small steps that were easy to make but led to greater commitments and better results. The second tool is situating. Appreciating your cues will lead you to better habits. I saw, for example, that my willpower was weaker at night, and therefore the situation of where my fridge was needed to be adjusted. I saw that football and driving were cues to nail biting, and it therefore became easy to apply some simple changes to my environment to adapt my responses. Putting snacks in the garage made it more difficult to mindlessly eat at night. My gloves in the car and in a position on my landing enables me to enjoy match of the day and driving without biting my nails to the core. There are likely to be some simple changes you can make to your environment that will make bad habits less attractive and good habits easier to do. A picture of you enjoying water on the fridge could nudge you to drink rather than eat. Deleting apps from your phone or putting them in a time-wasting folder might make it harder to waste time on unhelpful tasks. Even moving time-wasting apps into their own folder in terms of environmental design may help. So look at your cues to your habits. You'll find insight to redesign your life to avoid the cues and crush the cravings. You can also look to establish positive cues for what you want to do more of. If you want to run in the morning, putting your jogging trainers right by the bed is a simple environmental cue that will help you succeed. The next step is stacking. As we already have thousands of programmed habits in our lives, like brushing our teeth, going to the fridge every time we step into the kitchen, checking our phones as we get out of bed, we can use our existing habits as cues for new habits. Stacking new habits on top of existing ones increases our chances of remembering to do the small things that make a difference. When I stacked taking my vitamins on top of taking a drink after exercise, it became easy. Thinking about what you already do habitually and stacking new positive habits on top of these pre-programmed routines will make building new habits easy for you. The next step is statement or stating. Research shows that one very effective tool for making habits stick is articulating an implementation intention. This is a declaration of when, where, and what we will do to create the new habit. Research at UCL showed that an implementation intention, that is, when X situation arises, I will do Y behavior, doubled the likelihood of a control group taking up increased exercise. The same study showed that this practical tool is far more effective than motivational advice or information intended to demonstrate the benefit of increased exercise. That means that setting a practical intention is far more effective than educating yourself about the benefits or finding a way to temporarily motivate yourself. If we add what we know about cues and situations, we can craft our implementation intentions to read something like, I will, certain behavior, at certain time, in certain location. Stating your intentions like that will make a massive difference to the likelihood of you changing your habits. The next step is celebrate. And you may have noticed it's not really an S. There has been lots of speculation about how long it takes to form new habits in human populations. In Atomic Habits, James Clear suggests it's likely to be dependent on the amount of repetition, that is the frequency, rather than the number of days. A meta-study of the research at UCL suggests that a figure closer to 66 days is most effective to impact real change. In the 5 a.m. habit, Robin Sharma suggests it's useful to break down this 66-day habit building window into 3 distinct phases: destruction of the old habit, implementation of the new habit, and integration of the new habit. Since reading this, I have found that celebrating at each stage is a useful tool to motivate me and keep track of my progress. Each stage is only 22 days. It feels like I'm always close to a point that I can celebrate, a key stage in the habit change I'm seeking to implement. By scheduling the end of each stage into my diary at a particular date and agreeing with myself an appropriate celebration of each stage, it's allowed me to keep track of where I am, celebrate each stage of the process in a significant way. Scheduling into your diary what you'll do and how you will celebrate is a helpful tool. I invite you to try this simple way of planning to support yourself to make these small changes to your habits that will make a big difference over time. I trust you've seen the benefits of examining your habits and applying the 5 S's to effective atomic habit change. Slicing, situating, stacking, stating, and celebrating are simple tools that can help us all eliminate the habits that hold us back and initiate the habits that can make a positive difference to the life of ourselves and to the lives of others. I hope you'll enjoy the process of implementing this into your lives.